Okay, let's see if this is actually gonna work. Go to my dashboard. Let's see what's connecting and what isn't. Steam is still not connecting. I don't understand it. Bitrate looks good. Do not need a preview. Thank you, Restream. Twitch is good. Oh, the others take so long. The ferret climbing around on my bed. Okay, Picardo is up. As long as one's up, I'm gonna say we're good to go. I'll keep it on there for a minute instead of looking at chat until I realize that the other channels are up. Mixer's up. Okay, YouTube always takes a while, so I'm gonna call it there. Mixer usually takes a while. Guys, redo my chat. Hey! Okay, where were we? We were in Clip Studio Paint. I don't remember if I exported my work, so let's work on that. Then I'm going to jump into Krita and see what I can do with Krita. Time for the Weeaboo music. It will load. There we go. Should open it. There we go. Strangeness. Okay, so take this and let's do a file. Save as. What are our options? Clip Studio format. We do have TIFF and Targa. Both of those support transparency, so that technically should be able to dump down. Let's see what our Photoshop document does. Okay, so this will rasterize all my line art because that is actually really hard to render in general. How they do vector artwork with brushes? Like, you can have an actual textured brush and it makes a vector out of it somehow. I don't know how they do that, but whatever that technique is, nothing can replicate it, so it will always rasterize down, at least as far as I know. Okay, so let's see how Krita wants to work. I'm gonna open on my other window, it always does. I say window, my other desktop. Yep, every time. There we go. Holy crap, this interface is tiny. Okay, well, let's do open that. Let's see what it does. Looks pretty good. Only weird thing is, while I do have two-finger motion, that doesn't seem to be one-to-one. That's kind of strange. Let's see. If I drop there, right on the... yeah, it's not one-to-one. That's strange. But while I have that, unless it's three-finger, yeah, there's no way to very easily rotate from there. There is a rotation tool somewhere. I've got red bleed on this screen. That's interesting. Okay, so what we do have here though is I have the ability to, if I need to rotate, it's annoying, but I can pull up my pop-up menu and then rotate from there. Just annoying as all hell. Is there a reset on that? There's 5? Yeah, I can make it work. Let me do a quick search though. I think someone figured out via a plugin a way to make that actually have rotation. Come on. Damn it, mouse! Don't get stuck. Hey! How you doing, Airwolf? I am tired as all hell. Had a bad day at work. But as soon as I figure out how to make Critter here do... Ooh. As soon as I figure out how to make Critter do touch rotation, I'll be actually really good. Because that's something that is going to drive me nuts. Like they have a feature, it might be an update. It's just a thing, so you can rotate the canvas by clicking this little drag bar here, but the interface is so damn small right now. I might just end up using keyboard keys. I do not have a number pad, oddly enough, but that's the easiest way to do it. With a number pad, it's kind of designed to be left, right, and center. Oh, I guess I can also set that on one of the wheels on my Wacom remote. That might be a good way to do it. Let's see. Shift and secondary pen drag. Is that right? Help if my shift key worked. Shift and right click. Is that what I'm seeing here? That's funky. I never knew it showed you the color you're currently using. There was a combination that did. Okay, so that's an odd combo, but I could do it. I already have technically a combo. A little rough. Touch egg. Oh, apparently you can use your finger while doing stuff. That would be a lie. Looks like there is a new feature, I just don't... I don't know. Well, first of all, let's make sure I'm running the newest version. Could be they added it. Okay, let's see. What version am I running? Oh, god damn, I can't see. my mouse goes a little small here. Krita. Krita is 411, so what's the one on their site? Oh, they're doing another donation run. Okay, so it looks like I have the current version. Oh, looks like it's on the cutting block right here. So they've got it on the. It's on one of the future builds. Okay. What I might do, I might just map one of my buttons. Let's see, so, let me tap on my config here. Ah! I don't even want to know what that update's for. Let's go to this. Express key settings. Okay. So we got all of our fun stuff set on default because I'm kind of lazy sometimes. Krita. Okay, so for Krita, we are gonna make one of our. Oh, here we go. Express ring. Go. So we have our rotate. We're going to actually, well, let's see. Does it rotate? I'm going to say probably not. Yeah. Yeah, that's not that's not doing it. Okay, so this needs to be a keystroke. We're going to call it rotate. On that end, it's going to be rotate. And we probably want it to be pretty slow since it's pretty big steps there. Well, let's make it like that. That's probably fine. All right, so I should be able to. Oh, yeah, that's sensitive. That's very sensitive. My first guess was correct. It's like 2-to-1 right now. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's what I get for having large strokes. There's a way to make it so that Krita uses different increments, but I think it's the rotation snap is what it goes on. So if you turn off rotation snapping, it lets you free toggle it. We'll do that. We'll also set up one of our express keys here. I move around. I don't really need space because I move around with that, so I could remap that to... Clicks, keyboard. It's modifiers? Oh, damn you, touch! Okay, that would be, we need shift and space. Okay. Cool. Put up. think that does it. So I should be able to tap that. Very cool. And then if I need to, I can also rotate. And one last key. Damn it. My eye tracker is taking control of my control alt. Okay. We also probably want to do an outer key here. What am I not going to use? Page up, page down. I have no clue what that is by default, actually. I don't think I've ever used page up and page down in an art program. Guessing it's layer change or something. But this one we're going to do keyboard, keystroke. 5, we're going to say center rotation. Oh, yeah! No, stop it! Okay. So if I press on that, okay, that is go up and down layers, so that is good to know, but that's my key. Okay, cool, so I can rotate, I can recenter it. Now we're tracking! Forgot this whole time, I am sitting on my gun. There we go. Can you tell I haven't unwound for the day? So we are currently set up to go. I've got to kind of figure out what I'm doing here. Really sensitive on all the touch stuff, but that's actually fine. One thing we need, figure out what layer is what. A reason that there is a third layer? Ah, gotcha. It's our little guys down here. Okay, so we have these 3 line art layers. We have layer 1 and layer 2. Still present, but we don't need them. So what we really need to do is group these first of all. So shift and click. It's a little harder to do menu stuff than it should be. Okay, so we're going to do that. We're going to take these layers. We'll just leave them where they are. They're actually fine where they are. Then we've got a new layer here. So we're going to do a new paint raster layer. Why it put it in there, I don't know. We're going to call this, well, we're going to make our flats effectively. So what we should do actually is make a group layer first. There's our flats. I'm going to take layer 2 for whatever reason it named it layer 2. I guess there is a layer 1. We're going to do... Oh, let's see how we want to start here. We'll do the fur on this guy here. Okay, so we have nice tools. I probably want to switch over to, I got my own custom stuff here. I just don't remember what they all are. And to see, I have to hover, dry brushing, all that. What I need is a flat paint. And they have really cool bristles and things. I think this is the basic one, the basic flow brush. Yep. What I want though is I need to make it 100% opacity based. Brush panel? Is that a thing? Nope. Darn it! Okay, so which one of these is my brush? Options. This guy here. So we're gonna take this and say... Well, this is a flow. What I need is just hard flat color, no pressure. Let's see if we have a tool for that. I mean, I guess a basic ink brush. Yeah, there we go. That's what I need right there. Okay. Good to go. Our basic ink brush, we're gonna pick a color here. So, I really should be doing color swatches. Where are my colors? Oh wow, it's so small. Okay, well, we're gonna go with this. So, Carbon, the little guy representing me there. I don't know if I want to do my old colorings. No, I'll do the new ones. I'll do the new ones. So, to make that work, I need, what's the base color gonna be? It's gonna be off slightly. You might greenish chartreuse here, and what you do is you make it really light, just the slightest amount of saturation. That's itty bitty, but I can actually improve it from over here. There, something like that. Little too much maybe. I don't know if I want to do a flat even color or if I want to do light end color. There, that's about right. So we have a zoom here. Paint within the lines. Oh right, I forget, I need to make it so that our layer here is okay, our layer there needs to be above, and I guess I could keep it where it is. It's directly above, so it's not like... Oh, I just did there. There we go. So, here, go back to our good layer here, and we're going to paint. Now, a lot of people will paint the edges and then they'll fill the inside. I don't do that. That's lame. Now you should, the reason I got a flat brush, you should paint the entire thing yourself. Because fill tools do weird things like leave individual pixels uncolored and you don't see it sometimes on a high-res display. If you paint over it, you know you covered every ounce of it. So I'm going to lay down a base color, and then I'm going to come back and lay down the... What the hell was that? I'm going to lay down the base color, then I'm going to come and... I'm going to come on top of that and put down secondary colors, because effectively what I'm trying to do is every object So in this case, the entirety of myself, of the otter, I'm going to color all of his base fur same color. And then I'm going to color in lighter areas and darker areas and put hard lines. It's just hard color to start off with. When you go later, what you end up doing is you tell, if you're painting the way I paint, you put a layer on top of that, and then you tell it to sample color from below. That way you can pick up color and use oil brushes and stuff to blend. If it still works the way I think it should. There's an ant on my screen. So we will see. What is my brush size? It's shift, right? Yeah. Like a real tool. So yeah, it's one of those things though, when you're filling objects, fills are kind of just, they're notorious for being pixel perfect. And if you don't get your anti-aliasing just right, you'll get issues. So I highly recommend that you just paint the entire thing. You get a flat brush and just paint it. If it's flat, you know you're not going to have opacity issues. You're good. Stay within the lines. Damn it, Carbon! Only thing about Krita that's a little weird with pen tablets, when you're in Windows ink mode on this, flipping the pen around is very weird because no pens except the Wacom pens do that. I mean, there are ones out there, but the only ones that are Windows Ink certified are the Wacom ones. So as you can see, it's having issues going, I have no clue what you're trying to do, but then it catches up. It's a little weird. Seems like a bland color, right? Well, it is. It's my fur's basically, it's off green because technically my skin is green. So you make a little shine through, but it's gray, white, and kind of a warmish, like slate gray. Okay, now before I go ahead, did I get everything? Yes, I got everything here. So the reason that I like having flats, you do a flat layer, is because you can preserve opacity or whatever. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting showing off the, come on, you can paint, there we go. It's going to be interesting showing off the colors because I have only just recently kind of come into having a discrete image in my head of what I look like. Of what my persona looks like, I guess you would say. It's a pretty clear image. I mean, I know what I want it to look like. It's just going to take a little bit of experimenting to get it all down on paper. Digital paper. Do you like how I use a small freaking brush? Yeah. It's fine. So we'll see where I go from here, but tonight's pretty much going to be just doing this, filling everything in, but it's more than just flat colors. I swear. It'll be a little bit more to it than that. I'm not sure if I want to do multiple layers, one for each color that's on the... Is it because of my hand being down? Oh, that's what it is. Okay, you know what that means. There's no palm rejection in this program. There are ways to make that work in your favor. But I'm too lazy to find a medium ground there. I am glad that you're getting some amount of experience out of this, because I am nowhere near what I would consider at a professional level right now. But I do like to help where I can. So if you have any questions about anything, I might be able to answer it. Keep in mind that I worked as a technical artist, which means I have to know how to do everything. If an artist can't do something, my job was literally to do it for them. Like, okay, cool, whatever, don't worry about it. You know, don't waste time on it, I'll figure it out. That was a demanding job, especially when it was for 3D work. That was absolutely a demanding job. You know, what I could do is actually hold my remote so I can make my stuff bigger when I need it. Damn it! Going outside my line here. And it's not the easiest thing to see. Let's see, on the stream it looks a little better. I currently have my brightness a little down on my Wacom. That's because I want color accuracy. When you turn the brightness up, you actually get a little bit more blue than everything else, so your colors aren't accurate anymore. Although if you have an OLED panel, don't worry about it. OLED is generally speaking color accurate, no matter what you do. Or CRT. CRTs are nice too. I wish you could still buy them without them costing $1 million. This is a very odd color because the slight amount of green in it doesn't necessarily want to show for everybody. That's why I had to be careful about how much I put in it, because I want it to be the bare minimum for most monitors. I want it to be perceptive that there is green, but you shouldn't really see it in the grand scheme of things. And that's hard to do when you're only working with sRGB. Now, if I was in Adobe RGB, that's very easy to do, but, I mean, the internet is sRGB, so you have to design around that. Since this is for publication, sRGB it is. Which means you have more of an even color grading.
I'm feeling good, let's say my emptiness has gone away. I just woke up today. Eat my corny flakes.
Ooh, corny flakes. What is this song? Hail Machine.
Good morning, how's the weather, dear? My feelings are...
Yes, so human eyes, actually humans, there is no such thing as green, let's put it that way. There is no such color as green. There's not red, there's not blue. Really, there's infrared and there's ultraviolet, and your eyes pick up a combination of the two, and your brain invents a color based on how much of each there is. Because green is an equal amount of both, it's literally the most agitation for our vision that you can put into your cones. So effectively, it's the most excitable color. People say, oh no, that's red. Red's the most excitable. Well, red has the most energy in it. It physically excites the nerve the most, and that drives all kinds of other things. But when it comes down to it, the ability to see is based on lying directly in between. The color that you actually can see the best is chartreuse, which is effectively the color of leaves. And there is an exact reason for that, because, well, we needed to be able to see moving leaves. It's a anti-predator thing. You see the tall grass moving and you go, oh wait. It's actually, you should see something else in contrast to foliage. An interesting note, actually, is that, I forgot what I was even going to say because I was coloring. Yes, an interesting note about kind of the way that fur works. The reason that a lot of animals are counter shaded, they have dark fur on the outer edge of them, and then the underside is light, is twofold. The outer edge actually reflects less of the surrounding light, so it means that they reflect less of the green that's around them and less of the overall from everything around them, so they blend in a little better with the silhouette of what's around them. And then the underside picks up on colors. It reflects as much as possible because it's lighter, it's whiter, creamier, so it actually reflects as much of the surrounding color as possible to make it look like grass that's near the ground. But then on top of that, it also is lighter such that when the shadow of the animal hits that fur, it darkens that area and makes it more like the top area, more like their back coat. There's a whole science of weird science behind why animals have multiple tones to their fur. Okay. Back to edge mode. I'm gonna leave things like so the eyebrows and the hair are basically gonna be their own layer. Not sure if I want to go over them or not. Nah, I'm gonna stick discreet. So I could paint over them and not really care and then just put it at a layer higher, but I'm not gonna. I'm going to take the harder method and actually paint around all the lines. It means I'll have to switch layers a little more though down the line. But you can always merge layers, so who cares? Towards the end, I tend to make duplicates of layers just so I have backups, and then I merge them and see if I can do what I need to. My phone just beeped at me. I forget that I'm on call. And that was work. But it's not something I have to worry about. Let me... There we go. Now you guys get to hear that, I believe. I don't know if you hear the actual stuff coming out of my sound card or whatever I have set for my PC to come out of the sound card. But if you can hear the sound card itself, you'll hear my phone. Which currently my ringtone is set to the Mimic from Dark Souls. If you've played enough Dark Souls, you have come to learn that sound. Yeah! Yeah, that would be the laugh of the Mimic. You get to the point where just hearing that at all in Dark Souls makes your blood turn. And very much because of that, I have that as a ringtone. There's like some autonomous response that makes you go, oh shit. Not gonna fit in there. Hey senpai, notice me. I do like that. I do like the song is very aware of American meme culture. Oh wow, yes. I need to actually play some more. I got the DLC and have yet to actually touch it for Prey. Prey is one of my all-time favorite games. Any game that actually pulls off a System Shock is good in my book. No! Oof. Damn it. Okay, so I believe that is that. Get the tail real quick. Should be rather easy because it's very solid. It's line art. There's a bit of lag right now. I don't know why there is, but there is a bit of lag on the on this brush. I'm guessing potentially it's because I have some kind of smoothing turned on. Brush smoothing basic. Yeah, that would be why. I don't mind it. I usually don't go fast enough for it. Changed layers somehow? There we go. This is a very strange song. These ants are everywhere. I need to just go nuts on these things tomorrow. I am out of what I need to take care of them though. It's raining outside, so all these ants are coming inside. Okay, so that's a basic color. Now, do I want to put the secondary color now or finish doing the absolute basic flats? Let's go finish up doing our absolutes. Let's get the basic colors. That way when I go to pick my other colors, they're not off because everything's white right now. That actually becomes an issue. So what that means is we will need to make a new layer. Ooh. And we'll do the other fur here. Now, this is an odd one. What's going to be the base color for Husky? Probably steel gray. And steel gray is kind of here. It's gonna be really goddamn blue now. Oh, that's still really, really steely. There we go. Is that Yoshi I'm hearing? Did I forget? Ah, I did forget the other hand. Good call. Good call, good call. What is my pickup? It is... Control? Control. All right. Cool. Now let's get our color pick again. And we'll go back to this. Thank you very much. I'm sure it would have been pretty obvious after a little bit, but always better to catch it earlier before you make an error. It's going full J-pop on me. This music! Now it's going to look like I didn't quite fill in all those pixels. Some of these pixels are actually a... I should set it to multiply just for that. Some of these pixels are actually kind of just dithering out. They have anti-aliasing applied to them. So they're remnant pixels. So if I go to this and make it a multiply... I can find it. Multiply. Should go away. Maybe I have to do the individuals. Oh yeah, it looks better. This interface is so small! Okay. It's a little better. Alright, let's make that bigger again. Oh, one of my coworkers is doing things after hours. This is fun. Damn it, ants! I'm not going to be totally exact there because that's going to be blended when I get done painting it. Damn it. Went out my bounds. I don't know how much that actually matters. It's probably not going to be very visible by anybody. Oh, that's actually inbounds. Do I want to do the nose different? No, I'm going to just paint the nose darker. Not going to be color different. In reality, this doesn't need to really change. This is all the hand and everything. Okay, let's see if I can get this. I'm going to draw a hard line here. Finish up this outer edge, and we'll do up until the arm. Okay, I believe that's all my base outlines up here, so let's go bigger. See if we can't fill. And of course I forgot down there. It looks like that's a small area to work in without zooming, but actually this is a 4K screen, so I have the ability to just kind of get in there and see if I got the color or not. As annoying as a 4K UI is, it is actually kind of nice having a screen that I have to get this close, like right on it, in order to actually see pixels. From here, from a comfortable height, I can't make out pixels at all. Just kind of how you want it when you're painting. I understand what Wacom was thinking when they did that. A lot of reasons why I don't like that, but a lot of reasons why I do. Technically, I need to color that in. It's a little tiny bit. Doesn't seem like much, but that actually does matter when you're using opacity tools later. Oh, there. Doo-doo. Got an arm. Some do these before I forget about them. His entire tail extends out, so I can actually just blend off onto that. Mm. Paint by numbers, kids. Gotta love it. We're getting there. Okay. Do some ears. Okay. I really need to worry about the lines there.
Alright, see you later, buddy. See you later, buddy.
That's a good one.
Nice.
Keeps doing J-pop. I kind of want to go refresh this playlist here. I'm not really looking for J-pop, but more, there's a name for it. I forget what it is. I call it kawaii jazz. Okay, let me stop there real quick and change this music. So it's currently deviated. Go to my artist list and see. Gotta have someone else that's similar. Oh, Fusk. Fusk will work. There we go. See, it's a very electronic, but like jazzy kind of like smooth music. But it's ultra cute. Super chimey and full of bubbly poppiness. I don't know, there's a name for it, but I don't know what you would really call that. Makes good background music. Okay, Adri is now flat-toned. So what next? We could do, the bed could be one, but let's do hair instead. So, do Adri's hair. So, he had very brown hair, kind of a dark brown. Keep in mind, he'd never actually had a fursona. It was, what's the color for it? It's not brown per se, it's like bronze. Like when your hair is brown, but then you go in the sun a lot and it bleaches, turns blonde. It's not quite blonde. Like PewDiePie's hair, his natural hair. If that's what I'm thinking. Be lighter. Oh. We're putting a base color down. We get to modify that later. It's that off like brown but not brown, that blondish brown. I don't know how to describe it. We're gonna go with blonde. That sounds very racist. Wait, I rescind that. If you notice, my line art being set to multiply is actually not quite black. I purposely make it not black for exactly this purpose, to see that I'm actually going through the line art. And then when you want to make it black, you just double up the layers. Because it's less than 50% on the value, so it adds up to over 100% when you double up on it. Come on, you can paint. Am I missing? There we go. Just being weird. Oh, you know what it is? It's probably the autosave kicking in. That's what's probably doing that. You may or may not be able to hear the ferrets destroying something behind me. Yeah, I'm looking at you. You know, I really should color this in its entirety. Just as a precaution. This is where it gets a little tricky. I say that, but that really wasn't that bad. Straight lines. Don't have to really worry about that too much. That was a big wide stroke. Stop freaking out! These little gloves don't actually stop the touch input from getting through, it just makes it much less likely. But if you push hard enough, you will actually trigger touch on your device. I go over, I went over. I'm gonna call this color Fresh Straw. Even though it looks like old straw. Fuck it. It's actually brass. Brass is pretty much this color. It's been a bit, so let me make a dedicated save file here. I'm going to save this as ARA file. That way when it does the auto saves, it's going to actually save to the proper file. Waffle Pond, how you doing? Okay, so let's do another layer here. I'm gonna call that Harren hair. Okay, see if I can get the right color here. It's gonna be odd because it's gonna be a similar color but a lot less saturated. And it's going to be more in the blue base. Oh, that's way too much saturation. Really finicky. So just manually set it. To be really, really, really desaturated. So hard to dial that in. Okay, so we got that about right. There we go. It's you start off this color. Yeah. Yeah, I am You're very tired. I'm very tired. I think we all need to go to sleep. So this is, it looks like it's a very just normal gray, especially compared to the green. That's kind of the point, is against the green it looks very gray. There's actually a fair amount of blue in this, like a fair amount of blue. The point is put down a medium coat. Highlights are going to be a little bit less saturated but brighter, and then the darker areas are going to be super saturated, but with not with blue, with they actually shift towards indigo. This is all in my head. I have never actually seen this, so I may end up changing the colors, but that's actually real easy to do once you have a base color layer down, so we'll see. But the idea is super silvery hair with some very controlled highlights. Just rest your eyes. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Damn it. And stop making such large strokes. Getting there. So fursuits are kind of a onesie. I don't know why they're worth so much. If you 3D print like all the underside parts, all the actual lattice work and framework, you can actually make one really cheap though. But the actual work that goes into them, it's you make a form and you put a bunch of parts on the form, and really it only comes down to the weird fur patterns that everyone wants. So if you have a sparkle fur, like crazy grade sparkle fur where everything is a different color, or there's stripes everywhere, whatever, then they have to actually sew different colors of fur in, and that's what makes it really hard. I don't know, it's just a weird thing. Some of them can be super easy and some are super hard, and yet they all cost an elaborate fortune. Okay. Whew. What next? Well, we do have the bed. We have a bed color here. I just realized that's on the same layer because somehow I had an undo or something that got rid of my layer I created. That's fine. That's fine. I can make do with that. Oh. Actually name that properly instead of just adding to it. So, we have our bed liner. The bed liner is going to be pretty easy, I guess. I gotta think about the actual color that this was. I believe the one I had was maroon at the time. I'm gonna go with maroon. It's not an easy color to make. That's maroon. It's a little dark, but that's maroon. There we go. That orchid kind of maroon color. That's what my sheets used to be. So I'll go with that. On the right layer? It is on the right layer. Good. Technically the pillow matched. But I think I'm going to make the pillow like lilac, like a different color, just so it's noticeable. By the way, the only reason that I'm zigzagging as I go is because I am drawing left-handed, and it's pretty hard to see both where you're drawing and where you're going to draw if you're left-handed. You can move everything around, or you can do like this and just rotate the canvas. I guess that's the better way of doing it. And then you don't really have to do small strokes. This song just really picked up. The good old BRB. Now this does fade off. I'm just gonna generally block it out. I knew why I did that.
Drive hard. Drive Mustang.
Drive Hard by Prototype Raptor. The stuff it pulls up when I do this kind of radio station. It's strange. Thank you, Spotify, for being weird. And before you say it, yes, everything that goes on YouTube gets copyright strikes. But live streams are exempt from auto banning because of copyright strikes on music.
Drive Mustang.
Ooh. A little bit of overage there. A little bit more overage.
Drive hard. Drive Mustang.
Or there. It happens. I was going pretty quick on the tail before, though, so I kind of expected that. When it comes to the sheets, it's nothing really critical anyway. Plus, I'm probably going to be blending the outside of the tail anyway. keeping the line intact, the actual line art, while blending. That's going to be an interesting thing. I've never done line art and painted like fur before.
Try Mustang.
Yeah, shading is interesting. There are other color pickers I can use actually with this program, with Krita, and I may switch to them that allow you to do relative color. But it is interesting how very, very little you have to change a color to make it be perceived as super dark. It's all about contrast and surrounding color. So like this, for example, I had to get the color right because when you actually fill out the entirety of an area, it looks different than when it's against white. So I had to be pretty careful about that. And you can always change the color later. With a layer like this, you literally can take the color and just say, here's a replacement color. There's a filter that lets you replace color, actually. But you can just do a fill, do a select opacity, and then fill. There are ways of fixing it. I am not entirely familiar with all the methods available to me in Krita, but they exist. If they were in the GIMP, they're still here pretty much. Doesn't really matter if I get to the corners, because I'm going to crop that corner off. But I'm being thorough for the sake of actually, like, keeping myself as a good method artist. If you skimp on little things here and there, you eventually skimp on a lot of things here and there. Something I've learned. So let there be no room for bad habits, especially when you're relearning how to do stuff. Okay, let's see if I can do this with the big brush. Get the line on the right side so I can see what I'm doing. When I think about it, I have my music open up here. I should open up my multi-chat. There we go. Now I can see everything a little more readily. Get back! What's up, Lightning? If you see me blowing my screen, there's ants on my screen. I need to do a little extermination. They really, really, really like the magnetic field coming off of this thing, though. I could actually look at my wireless charger, and that has 1,000,000 amps on it for the exact same reason. Who does this? The Overwatch theme by VGR. That's right. Does a lot of really good remixes. Oh, that's not what I wanted. There we go. How did not right click? That's the main bed. Little tiny bits here and there still to fill in. Hey Waffle, do whatever you need to do, man. You don't need to stay up and watch me. I appreciate the support, but I would much rather you actually do what's healthy for you and go to sleep. Yeah, you don't need to stay here for me. Damn it. Take it easy, man. Enjoy the time you got. If it means sleeping, then so be it. We're all having fun here. Take it easy, Waffle. Thanks for watching. I think I have one little patch left of this color. Alright, two little patches. It's super responsive, but actually a little over accelerating on the touch controls. It takes a little bit of finesse. Okay, so where are we at here? What else needs color? Well, let's do the pillows. The pillows and the sheets would both be kind of a lilac. I believe that's the color I'm looking for. Ooh, little too saturated, little, it needs more white too. That'll work. Okay, so let's make a new layer. Boop. The sheets! Oh, sheets! Probably reduce that a bit. What with it not fitting in corners. Okay, we're gonna need a little bit of work here. Let's get Adrian's fur and let's nuke that. Go back to our sheets. Small as all hell. Hawk your machine! You better be ready for the fight! I'm a big fan of the faux Egyptian. Was it a blind stroke and I actually managed to make it. The hell was that? It randomly likes triggering my right click. I don't know why. Probably thinking that I'm double tapping, like I'm tapping 2 fingers down. Pretty sure I can go bigger now. Rotate! It's like I'm drunk! Go up in size. Finish this pillow off. The rougher of the two. And then the sheets are going to be pretty much the same color. I say pretty much, but they're going to be the same color. Which, they're actually a lot easier. It's gonna be cropped off there anyway. Not gonna worry about that too much. Damn it. Of course I get the one line wrong. Ants on my screen. Oh man, everything's going wrong today. Okay, Pillow 2 is easy. I've got the top sheet, which I'm going to leave white. Then you got the undersheet. That's fine. I say undersheet, I meant oversheet, the blanket. I sworn I went over, but I didn't. I love going so fast that I break the rendering engine. Oh yes! Doing something right. It's because I'm zoomed out, actually. There's a lot of pixels that it's trying to show at once. If you're on a 4K monitor and you're not at 100%, it tends to have that issue. Oh, I didn't see your text. Ah! I'm glad I could help, Lightning. I'm absolutely glad that I could help with the, that I could help with that little bit of fursuit knowledge. I used to talk a lot with... Oh, it sounded like a damn ringtone. I used to talk a lot with the Made For You guys. So I knew a little bit about them. So this program that I'm using, this is a combination of programs used to make this. So I used Clip Studio Paint. I always get the name wrong. Clip Studio Paint to do the line work, because Clip Studio Paint, very much like Paint Tool Sai, has the ability to do vector lines that are just freehand lines. It makes freehand Bezier curves, but it has the ability to let you erase them, and it'll make two separate lines when you do that. It has all kinds of really cool little sub features. You can also, just like Paint Tool Sai, you can also change the width variance. You can just paint width on top of an already established line. So it's really good for getting your line widths down. You have to worry about it when making the line, you just come back and do it after the fact. But what I'm using here is Krita. I believe that's the official way you pronounce it. But it's... Ooh. Krita! K-R-I-T-A. It's free. I highly recommend that everyone get a copy of Krita because it's free. It's a very good open source project. It's taking the most powerful software out there, the GIMP, the graphics image manipulation program from Linux, and they're taking that and they're they're making it so that it works like Photoshop, so that it works very much like a painting designed program. It also has one of the best rendering engines, period. It's actually why I'm doing my color work here, is it has one of the best brush engines on the planet. It's 64-bit running off your graphics card for each brush stroke, which is why it can freak out sometimes when you're at like 80% or less on a 4K screen. But if you're at 100% zoom or more, it usually is not an issue. But that said, I have smoothing turned on, so I have some lag behind what I'm drawing. But if I turn smoothing off, absolutely, it's just boop, and then instantly you have a complex brush stroke down. It's a little memory intensive if you're using crazy brushes, though. That's the only downside, I'd say. But the only thing that's going to beat it would pretty much be, well, Photoshop's memory hog, but in general doesn't have issues. Once it's running, it's running. But the only thing that'll run better would be Painter, Corel Painter. And that's because they specifically have a fast rendering engine for their brushes. Okay, so we have our sheets. So, carpet was peach. I can do peach carpet. Or should I do the, anything else? Yeah, let's do the carpet. We'll do the carpet. Do I like otters? I am an otter. Do I like otters? You know what? Let's make it a wooden floor. We'll do that. We'll actually do the carpet, though. The carpet itself can be a different color. We'll make that red. A desaturated, slightly orange red. Yeah, perfect. And then we'll put blue highlights, blue stripes in it, and make it look a little bit more like a, what is it? Turkish rug? Persian rug? It's the same thing! Turkey and Persia are the same! This is nothing special, so I'm just gonna bang it out real quick. Again, that's outside the crop line, so I don't really care. Okay, so we're going to have two different kinds of wood. We're going to have a light wood and a dark wood. The cabinet here is going to be light wood. Now this is always a hard color to pick. That light birch color. There we go. Ugh. Gonna die of the dehydration. Come on, you can do it. There we go. I think it's saving whenever it hiccups like that. It's gotta be. Don't need to be crazy exact, but I will anyway. Damn my OCD! I don't know if you can see, I was going faster than the brush engine allowed there. I have simple smoothing turned on. If you turn on the advanced smoothing, oh, yeah, there's some lag. But it's true to whatever you do in real time. It just has to catch up. The rendering catches up. The actual tracking of your brushstroke never falters. It's a lot like how a bunch of iPad programs and all tend to run. If you can run WinTab drivers instead of the Windows Ink drivers for your pen, you'll actually have much faster response times too. That said, it's not going to be as accurate in Windows 10. Windows 10 actually does make really good use of the Windows Ink workspace. I tend to like it. I'm probably not going to worry about the cell phones necessarily. I might color them, but I'm thinking that that's going to be kind of reflective, so it's probably going to just end up being its own complete paint job on top of those, and not really necessary to have flats. What did I say? You let something slip here, and eventually lots more goes downhill. Yeah, you probably should do it. Well, we can do that. I just did that in carpet. How? I legitimately made a new layer just for that. Yeah. Okay, well then this is now its own layer. It's gonna be accessories. Cool, it's all one layer. While I have this, let's do floor. Floor needs to be its own. So, that's gonna end up being, gonna need more red to it. It's gonna be very saturated. Not that saturated. There we go, that's about right. A little more red. There. Keep in mind, there should be a wall here somewhere. I'm just not even gonna bother. It's just, it's a wooden house. It's a cabin in the woods. I know what I've been saying, don't slack here. But, that's a matter of, I planned this without a background at all. So everything after the bed was an afterthought. And is out of perspective, and I don't really... I could change everything, but the OCD in me, I guarantee, would make me go nuts trying to get the perspective of everything right. For the sake of expedience and not freaking the hell out over individual lines, I'm just making a generic background. That is not in perspective, but I don't need to tell anyone that. We're gonna call it Surrealist. Solves all problems. People understanding that you are a fox. Sorry, the chat might have been a slight bit delayed there. How am I confident in being a furry? Well, I'm over 30. I don't know. I used to be very, shy about it and all that. I think more or less I've learned just speak your mind. That tends to go really well. Never got anyone in trouble. But to be honest, it's hold up. To be honest, when you stop giving a shit about what people think, life gets a lot better. So I've kind of learned, kind of like what I'm doing here, it's all about what can you contribute to society. No one cares about the rest. The rest of it's all trivial, and usually it's based on clicks and time periods and being locked down to an area. Like you'll have cliques and groups in high school, and one's trying to fight for being the more popular of the other, and blah blah blah. You have all this stupid popularity shit and acceptance and all that, and it's all politics based around, well, we have nothing else to fight for, nothing else of value. And that nothing else of value comes from you being in goddamn high school. You have, most kids don't like run away from home and start their own life. They're under their parents' household, so they can't do anything too weird, etc., etc. So you're limited in what you actually own, what you can fight over. Once you get out in the world, like I have effectively, you start realizing that the world is what you make of it. And you don't need to give a damn what someone else thinks. And if they don't like something about you, well, that's just like their opinion, man. Where's it? That's Big Lebowski. But yeah, it's literally just someone's opinion. And hey, someone's allowed to have an opinion however they want to, and you're allowed to disagree with it. But fighting over opinions does not get anything done. You can much better spend your time doing something like drawing. Which I recommend, actually. If you get pissed off by what other people think, draw. Write. That's what I did. Just find an outlet that when you're done, you can look at what you made and go, wait, I actually made something. I have something that I didn't have beforehand. And instead of feeling disappointed afterwards, after venting, you'll feel accomplishment. It is one of the best feelings in the world. And then force yourself to publish it online. That's the secondary. You'll stop being self-conscious. But that's step one. Step one is get to the point where you don't have to rely on anyone. You don't have to, you're on your own, you can kind of think for yourself. Step two is it's don't worry about what you think about what you like and all that being taken too seriously. A lot of people exaggerate things just because they're trying to either antagonize you or they're trying to prove that they're better than you, right? In some way, in some social context. And they can't do that. They can't because they don't understand it. So you can just go, yeah, you don't even know what a furry is. Tell me what it is, and they'll completely give the wrong answer. And the minute that happens, you just go, nope, you're wrong, and just walk away. Like, legit, that's all it takes. There we go, back to floor. It's a bunch of little things like that, though. You kind of just learn what's important in life and what's not, and that gives you confidence in general, not just in who you are, but in what you do. It's like this. I know that I'm not as good as I could be. I'm not as good as I was in high school. Not high school, in college, when I was officially learning all this stuff. But here I am. I can laugh about it. I can make horrible artwork. Like, this is not what I would consider top tier, but it's something I'm making, and I'm proud of everything that I make, so I don't really care. It's a good way to spend time. I get to meet friends, have an audience of fun people. Come on, you can do it. Let me do a manual save just because. Yeah, I hope that kind of answers your question. Is there anything in particular you'd like help with, or you'd like to know? If I can help, I'd like to. I mean, you have to realize that the other person here, the person there, Adrian, we used to be a thing, and he is no longer around because people didn't understand us, and violence got involved, and I'm going to leave it at that. But that's one of those things that screws you up in certain ways, but it also makes you realize a lot of things about how the world works. It also makes you carry a gun. That's if you can, and you really have to know how to use a gun. I don't recommend people have a gun unless they actually care to put the time and effort into it. Because someone who doesn't really have, like, if you don't put 4,000 rounds down range on a given handgun, you're pretty much no better than anyone on the street at shooting it. And people on the street cannot shoot worth shit with a handgun. We're getting off topic here. That's fine. I go on tangents. You have to stop me, by the way. If I ever go on a tangent, it will inevitably end up odd for all parties involved. Okay, let's see. Let's go back to accessories. We'll make these phones here. I'm trying to remember what we had at the time. I was using an iPhone 4 at the time. Wow. A 4 or a 4S. So let's make this a metal framed phone. Trying to make it that same warm-ish metal. Do I have a fursuit? I actually don't. I've been considering making one. I actually have all the parts printed for the most part for the armature for a face, for a head. And it's a very, very small, very form-fitting one too. I can very easily apply fur to it, but again, I've only just recently kind of figured out what I think my persona looks like. So I didn't really want to, for lack of a better term, I didn't want to render myself and then go, oh wait, but that's not really what I think I look like a month later. Damn it, ants! Get off my screen! Shit! Okay, so that's that one, and Adrian had a Samsung, a black but not quite black Samsung. I'm gonna say just black will work, but let's make it off black. I think they always choose kind of a bluish black. Yeah, there we go. That galaxy black. Get it? Uh-huh. What's really sad is that I have a lot of experience with color theory, and I don't realize it till I have picked a color. But I'm like, oh, I can see a very little tiny splotch of a color in the color picker. And know what it's going to look like when it's on the paper, when it's spread out. And yet, I have to very, very much think about color theory. Like, when I'm actually planning colors, I generally have to think about it. This, for example, this entire image is just colors. It's representative of more or less real life. But normally I would be saying you have to kind of want to pick all the colors to be in a palette. Set all the stuff in the background is one general tone, and everything that's in the foreground's another tone. Generally speaking, that's the best way to start working. Let's make a mint green lamp, because I remember very, very much this is mint green. There we go. I might want to make it more saturated just so it stands out. There we go. Oops. It's happening! Okay, so what's left? Got the nose. That's chartreuse. I know that much. Could go dark. Actually, it's supposed to kind of be neon. I need it to be a little on the more saturated but lighter side. What am I doing? I'm already kind of putting all that on one layer anyway, so we're gonna do that. Color of the flesh is this plant color, because that's technically, Carmine is technically a plant, technically an otter and a space plant, for lack of a better term, space plant. If you read my stories over on SoFurry, you'd understand a little better. Which means, let's see, these need to be 2. Oh, with that. Okay, that's one, and then this. Adrian always wore these bright, damn baby blue ones, but I want to make it this off blue. The underwear. He always had super bright colored underwear. We're gonna go, yep, super brights. And we're gonna make that its own layer because clothing probably needs to stay separate. Come on, you can do it. It was in eraser mode. I don't know what happened. It picked an odd color. Go back to my color swatch. Interesting, I don't want to know what that flash is. I guess it means I don't have a redo. I undid my redo. Damn it. You shouldn't do single strokes! Damn it! Every stroke is its own undo point for people who don't know how art programs work. Some of them don't do that though. What is my sexuality? Complicated? No, it's effectively bisexual. A little more complicated than that. I am legitimately intersex. Hormone differences and everything, and that kind of screws with me. But because of various medications I take for various things, more recently I've actually had to take testosterone. That kind of changes a little bit. So I'm not going to say one way or the other. I'll just say bisexual. Right now I kind of have a stronger preference towards women. Oh, and I don't know if it's I don't know if I have it anywhere, but my persona's name is Carbon Fiber Optic. Which, for those that care to know, that's just a really fun play on words that I used as like a gamer tag and all that stuff. Do I watch anime? Yes, all the time. Currently, I just got into The Devil is a Part-Timer. I'm ongoing watching My Hero Academia. There's another one I'm watching, I just don't remember what. I always put anime down and let them accumulate a little bit of time. My Hero Academia is kind of the exception, but I usually let them accumulate a couple of episodes and then watch them in bulk. So sometimes I forget what they are until I see them on my playlist. And some resistance. Am I wearing down my tip? No. I do like that they finally realize that people want smooth screens and not to pay for nibs every 2 days. It's always been annoying that the Intuos line and the recent Cintiqs have had this super etchy coating on them. So it eats away at the nib, and they go, oh, well, it feels like pencil. It's like, well, if you want it to feel like pencil, just press a little harder. Okay. Where are we at here? Coming up on 11. That's not bad. So, I have my basic flats. The next thing I could do that I probably should do is, those are basic flats, but I can put down additional subcolors. Now, I need to remember how this even works, because every program does this differently, the way you do alpha locking. Alpha locking is effectively a quick mask. You're taking a layer below and using its masked out area to mask the layer above, typically, but in some programs it's the other way around. The layer above masks below. I think this is probably going to be top down. So I should be able to make a new layer, and then, no, other way. Alpha lock on this layer. If I try to draw on this layer now, yeah, that's exactly how it's supposed to work. I cannot go outside the layer. Now it's going to be everything below within this. So I have to be careful because I can draw over the sheets and all that like this. What I should do is subgroup these. Should be able to do pretty easily. There we go. Now, it doesn't draw on that because it's not in the same group. So the reason that that's really cool is because I can do stuff where I don't have to worry about going out the lines and all that. The reason that I was careful doing my line art is because of that. So I should be able to make this, say, darker fur. So, basic pattern of my persona of Carbon is this off greenish tone here, being a base coat, and it gets darker and darker. So, how do I want to make this work? I'm gonna blend it. I'm just not entirely sure how I want to. I probably want to put the darkest parts down, then blend into the lights. And I'm not gonna really worry about blending right now, but I'm just saying. So, if I collect that color, I can take it. Where are my color pickers? Let's see. Settings, Dockers, color. Specific color is one of them. I think it was that. I think it was specific color. It's not the right one. Back up here and do it. So maybe it was Digital Color Mixer. Ah, kind of. So what this does is it lets you blend up and down. I need to expand this a little bit. It lets you blend colors up and down. So you have a base color and then you can go, I want some more red in it, right? And then you have that color and then you can go, I want to change the amount of green in it, right? Or I want to take it and make it a little darker, right? Really, really cool little color picker. So in this case, what I really want to do, thinking about what I need to do for it. Needs to be darker. Needs a saturation changed. Also, the base color needs to change towards the blue spectrum. Get rid of that. There is a better color picker. I just don't know exactly where it is. Also, there are no weird things, by the way. I just read that. There are no weird things on this chat. Don't worry about it. Also, this is... Bubble Tea is one of my favorite Dark Cat songs. Absolutely. Bubble Tea. It's an amazing song. It's a... Who is it? It's... Dark Cat, Jew, and Cinders. Perfect. Okay, so I gotta think about where this all goes. So you're gonna have this, you're gonna have counter shading blending up into the face and everything. You're also gonna have the back side of everything being this darker color. Effectively, the back side of, say, tail, And then you've got backside of the body. Okay, god damn it. No. And again, don't worry so much about the lines in this because they will be blended. That's right, I gotta remember that the hair is on the same layer for this. That's why I try to make the hair a separate layer, but I screwed it up on this one. I guess I could extract it, but not worth the effort, really. Actually, let's do this. Let's make it set the entirety of the hairline this color. Let's think about this. Where would that put the arms? Just an email from work. Let me check real quick. I am on call. Nope, I'm good. Okay. So, we got that. Really, the arms are not going to be that way. Don't have to worry about it there. So I think that's all we need to show for this shot. Now we can maybe do the edge of the arm here. Just make it consistent that it's on the whole back. Okay, and then we'll have another base color in between these two. So what I need is, I wonder if I have that. Not the one I'm thinking. Artistic color selector. That might be the one I'm thinking of. Yes! That is the one I'm thinking of. So, we can take this and legit go, I want something lighter, I want some... Oh, you can't see it because I have this in the way. Let me grab it real quick. Boom. So, you can take this and go, I want a lighter color or a darker color, right? I want a tint or a shade. See. Oh, there we go. It had a chat message that got garbled and then came back. Oh, I appreciate that, Lightning. But genuine otter. Well, it's from my own writing universe kind of otter. It's there's a story behind what carbon is, but straight up otter, yeah, why not? It's more or less actually blend of lots of mustelids by story lore, but no, an otter basically. Anyway, so I like this because you can pick all kinds of nice little colors. You can set preferences based on how you want it to range. And then you have absolute color versus the modified variant color. So I can go, oh, okay, well I want this to be a little bit more blank. In this case, I need this to be lighter. And I need to get, it's in the bluish range. It needs to go slightly more towards the green. It needs to be a bit on the reddish side too. That's too saturated. I think that does it. So, and that's just a blending color in between. So, what we get to do here is... how do I want to do it? So, facial structure is going to be... I need to zoom in to do this. Change my brush. The story of my persona. That's a very complex story. Legitimately, there's an entire book dedicated to it. What's the easy way of explaining this? So, Carbon, in the story universe that Carbon kind of comes from, Carbon is a hybrid between an alien race called the Yangura, which are effectively alien plants, sentient plant people, and also technically a human, but all the humans, it's an alternate universe, alternate reality, where World War III goes down and effectively all the surviving humans, the majority of surviving humans, in order to survive the radiation that comes after the fact, they all had to undergo genetic treatment. So everyone has human in them, but they all also have animal bits in them. But the animal bits are unique to each person. So your genetics kind of determine what animal you can bond with genetically in order to combat the radiation. So the short story is effectively that Carbon is a hybrid of alien plants and a human turned otter. His mom was a human turned otter. Where can you go to read the book? Let me plug myself. Why not? There's tons and tons of explicit content, I will warn you. Because I don't hold back when I write. When I write, everything is... It's more or less role-playing from the perspective of the characters, so I don't hold back content. But, let me get it up. I can find it. Where is the link? Thank you, Chrome, for updating and looking completely different. Ooh, new comment. No, that's not what I need. Stories folder, come on! Okay, so first up we have a I'm gonna start with the first book. I know I can do folders. Let me see, I actually might be able to link the folders. So, first of all, we have the Entropy series, which... Oh, did I lose that? Something went wrong. Did it? Yeah, it probably just screwed up. Let me try it again. Something went wrong. It probably doesn't like me putting the link out there. Let me try on Twitch. Maybe? Is it gonna propagate to everyone else? I think they're disallowing links. Possibly, that's possibly what's happening. Let me try it on individual ones. Oh, it's there? Yeah, I can't tell if it sent a copy to everyone else on the other streams. Okay, so we have that. That's the Entropy series. It's long. That's several books. That's a lot of books. That just got done. Let's see. The next, though, the one that specifically focuses on carbon is this one. The Singularity series, which is a shorter series. And it takes place before World War III, during Vietnam and whatnot. That's kind of where the alternate timeline starts. And it's more of an origin story. You can read that first, and it won't spoil anything. It's entirely on its own, and I actually recommend people read it before they go into the later part of Entropy. But Entropy by itself, totally awesome, and then you can come back and read this after the fact, and hey, it'll actually be pretty cool and nifty that way, because you'll know things that you wouldn't otherwise know just reading it by itself. What I'm currently working on is this folder. And all this I will eventually move to other sites. It's just I've been using Sofuri for writing for forever. I just started kind of getting back into FA and all that. But this folder is my Refractions folder. So Refractions originally was just going to be short stories based on the next generation after Entropy. But it's kind of turning into its own story now. There's Kaleidoscope that's within that, and Kaleidoscope is what I'm currently working on. And that's designed to be a single book, not a series. It's a self-contained, like, short novel. But yeah, that's lots and lots and lots of writing. If you feel like reading things, passing it on to friends, right? Right? I actually don't really care so much about whether or not people read my stuff. I posted it because it's therapeutic for me at the time. I started writing all of this effectively when I lost Adrian. It was my first therapy. Nothing like self-therapy. So that's kind of chipmunky. I like it. But we also need to have the kind of stereotypical flanges, which should go under the eyes, but not too far. They should blend under the eyes. It's always from the nose to the underside of the eye. There we go. So we have that. Most likely I should make neck and everything match. Down to that in a bit. Back of the ears definitely need to be this. Okay, I can take that, blend it down. The reason why will become obvious. So there needs to be across the the actual split down to the arms, which would be here to here. And then the other side would be down to there. You can't really see it, so I don't know if I want to draw it. Maybe draw it like this. It just doesn't look right. Don't know why. Yeah, we can leave it. That's fine. We can always clean it up. It's on its own layer, so. So we have that. Then we have running down effectively from here up to here, following the rib cage, and then, or following the rib cage that way, and then following there. And this color looks a little weird, looks kind of drab. I don't know how to explain it. But when you blend it with the gray next to it, the darker gray, and you do kind of a blendy fur color, then trust me, it'll look a lot more logical. It looks kind of odd, kind of like German Shepherd colors almost, but again, when you blend it, it will make a lot more sense. So we have, I don't know how I want to do the hand actually, but we have the inside of the arm, damn it, every time I make one big stroke and then I make a little tiny error. Don't do what I do, kids. Now, I don't want to leave the inside of the hand exposed. Yeah. Okay. Now the very inside of the tail here gets the, make a bit of the tip, and then the inside actually, you know what I could do? I could just erase that part out. It's gonna be easier. There we go. That is one fancy pants otter. Oh, got the wrong color picked. We give this the same kind of treatment. Yeah! You put a little bit of a bevel in this color, and it magically looks like you actually have hands. Takes very little to make a believable paw. Again, when you start putting sub-shading in, you start getting these nice little contours, and those contours kind of shape the paw. Because you can understand where the lines are going. Now, one thing that I'm not sure how I want to do it. I kind of want to do it on its own layer blended with everything else. But one thing that Carbon has that comes from the plant side of him Ace Lightning, I am absolutely glad that you're feeling better about yourself. That is something that everybody should have the right to. And we all eventually get there, but if I can help you get there quicker, then I'm doing something right. Okay, so that's the general basic fur for Carbon. Now, I wouldn't want to screw up Adrian too much. Adrian is basically just a husky. So I put down the cream color that's, you know, the lighter part. But the actual patterns for a husky are much more complex than I really have time for. I'm willing to bet. What time is it? 11:18? Yeah, I need to wind down. 11:30, 11 is really where I should stop, but 11:30 is kind of my hard limit. I have to go to bed at midnight or I will not make it to work. So I think this is a good stopping point here. One thing I do need to do, I'll show you on a new layer. I probably am just going to do it on its own layer. But Carbon has these little indigo bastards. So the plant people, right? The Yangura. For you, it's 12:18. Yeah, that's wow. Yeah, forget about people on the East Coast. Wow. But yeah, so Carbon has, from the plant side of him, Carbon has these, they have a name, they're called Quei and Queo. They're basically tentacles, if you want to think of it that way, but they're, I hate saying it that way because there's lots and lots of Sonas that have them, but they're vines. They're like roots and vines and flowers all in one. But traditionally the Yangura use them every so often. They have to hibernate And when they do, oh, you're in Canada, that's right. So yeah, time offset there. But yeah, the Koyu are kind of like, when they go into hibernation, they dig them into the ground and use them like roots almost to get nutrients from the ground. Carbon has them just because they're a leftover. The Kwei, I never pronounce my own stuff right. There's a pronunciation, and I never practice it. But those are little tiny, what do you call them? Like mycella? I don't know what you call them. They're little feelers, almost little tiny microvines that run almost like fur underneath the fur. So like I said, Carbon has the green, you can't even see my pen. Carbon has the green flesh, right? But that shows underneath the greenish tint that's in the fur, right? Everything there. Well, his blood is actually a combination of like super baby blue, not like this, but like a much lighter baby blue. Actually, it's not that far off from that. And indigo, and it transitions between the two based on the usage of those Kwei. It's a little hard to explain without reading the story. It's a little hard to explain, but all you really need to know is that there's a line, a very specific line that I have envisioned in my head that I've never explained even in the books, of where they exist. And what they can do is the plant people can touch those together on each other, and they can talk to each other mentally. It's a way of linking them together. But Carbon has those, and I have no clue how I want to render them. But effectively, we want to think of it as this indigo color. Like that. That's, oh god, that's electric indigo. That's it right there. That right there. The web color electric indigo is the one side, and then Cherenkov radiation blue is the other side of the color spectrum, and it fades between them. But we're gonna make it all purple here, all indigo, just to start with. So it effectively runs all the way down to here, and then goes down into unknown territory. Right? Goes up, follows the neck, let's see, how did I ever have this going? It was, that's right, it went all the way up to the ears. It also runs up through the arm. So effectively it goes up, and right where it hits the underside of the arm, it goes two ways. It goes up the neck, and it also goes up the arm. And then it loops back around the back side of the arm and goes around the back of the shoulders. But you effectively get it going kind of right here. And then it goes around the edge of the fingers. Ah, the steam froze. The stream froze, not steam. Steam can't freeze, can it? Oh wait, no it can. That turns into snow. But effectively, the webbing, which I'm not rendering webbing specifically here, but we're gonna say it. Running along the webbing, gonna and make sure it doesn't cross over, because it goes around, effectively it goes around the edge of the finger, around the tip, and then around down the other edge, and continues around each of the fingers. Right, and then it comes around the back side of the arm, which would be here and not quite like that, but it goes up and then over, and then underneath the underside of the back of the arm. And on the back, that's where the tendrils are. So the tendrils, the vines, the long vines actually connect one underneath each of the scapulas, underneath your shoulder blades, and then a third one triangularly down the spine, like on the actual midsection of the spine. Now those, you can't really see. I haven't drawn them here. They were a formulation after all this, so I didn't really feel it was right to draw them. But in any case, this right here goes like underneath the crotch, right? Which you can't even see that because it's layer locked, but it goes underneath the crotch and then under the backside of the tail, which means effectively you have a couple on the backside. And they do just like on the fingers. It goes and loops around the back of the tail. That's not quite right there. Heyo! Skylight Frost! How you doing? Thanks for the follow. So, on the far end, it basically loops back. It's a little hard to render this way because they're technically three-dimensional. They're sticking out on the tail, but they don't stick out anywhere else. They're actually under the fur everywhere else. So while I say that you can see them like this, you actually can't. They're going to be blended so that they look like they're glowing underneath the fur. Except on the tail. The tail legitimately has them sticking out, and I'm going to have to paint that part. Like physically paint it, because I don't know any other way to make that shape work. And then you have the ones coming up the back of the tail, and you can see those. And that's about it. Glad to hear it. Okay, so we have this here. Come on, you can do it. Come on. There we go. So legitimately, you have going along the edge of the finger. This is all rough, but again, I'm going to be blending it in such a way that it won't matter. This is just a reference more than anything. I'm going to have to paint this on top of the final when I get done drawing everything. There we go. It looks a little scrappy there. Let's make that a little better. Should just be a tiny bit showing. But yeah, that is can't really see it. It's supposed to go up. I don't know, I kind of almost want to make it go up the hairline. Go behind the ears. Actually kind of nice, I like that. There we go. That's not bad for today. Skylight, do you have a persona? It's a fun question that's been going around tonight. No pressure, just be nice to know. Take this glove off. My fingers are going numb. It's a little tight. It's the one that came with one of my Huions. I don't know if you can see. It's not gonna focus. I should just do this. There we go. Yuyan! You know, I kind of like manual focus. Let's just keep doing that. A Nephilim wolf. I've heard this term before. I'm not entirely sure I understand what the origin of it is. It's worth a Google search. Nephilim wolf. Oh, part of White Wolf. That's interesting. That's where I heard it before. Ah, there's a famous bronze statue that is a Nephilim wolf. Oh wow, the stuff that's coming off of DeviantArt. Oh, oh, don't just randomly Google search something. Please, don't. Not when you have safe search turned off. That's perfect. I'm out of a drink right as I'm going to bed. So, what I got done today, all the flat colors for the basics. I've got the secondary colors for myself, for Carbon. I've got, it's a little saturated, but again, it's gonna blend down when I get the final painting done. I've got Adrian's base, the kind of off bluish, bluish tan color. But that's going to be the underside, the lighter side of the Husky. That is a Husky. I need to look up reference photos of Huskies anyway, so I'll have some prepared for tomorrow. And I'll do his secondary colors. The rest of this, the carpet has a little bit of secondary, the wood needs patterning, but that's all, I'm just going to paint that in. Everything else is all going to stay primary colors and just be shaded. So effectively, once I get done giving the secondary colors, the actual fur pattern colors, to Adrian, what we're going to do is start actually shading and painting. Foxy Foxy. I have several Fox characters coming to light inside of my stories, by the way, in the more recent ones, the Refraction stories. Some of the main characters, one of the actual main characters is a fox. Just if you cared. But yeah. I think this will do me. It is 11:30, so I really do need to get off now. Yeah, this is a good stopping point. This is a pretty good place for me to be at here. Let me do a save real quick, just to make sure I am where I should be. I'll exit. Waiting for save to complete. Yes, that's what I thought. It saves in the background. But yeah, I appreciate you sitting and watching with me here, guys. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoy what you like, then yeah, just keep coming back. We like to have a good old time. I'm not too big about the whole like, subscribe, whatever, all that crap. I just like having people to talk to and have a fun time with when I'm drawing. I draw for a hobby, I draw for fun, so there's nothing crazy about it. But yeah, I need to go to bed because I do have work in the morning. Tomorrow we'll do the same thing, so 8 o'clock Central Time, which for you Lightning that would be 9 o'clock, I guess. so I'll be on. I usually keep doing this until round about 11, so a handful of hours. And I will, yeah, I'll work on some of that shading. We'll get kind of the basics going on the shading, and hopefully that'll be a productive Wednesday. Thursday, I need to get this work done because I will be useless on Friday, and I kind of want to have it done for Friday. The whole point is Friday. Friday's the anniversary of the day I lost Adrian. So that means that Thursday, hopefully, I'll be able to get all of the painting done. I'm hoping I can get the shadowing done, all of the basic shadowing, all the basic highlights done tomorrow. That way I can just kind of run through it and you know, have it good to go. So that on Thursday we can paint, make fur patterns and all that. Blend the fur, take the Quay, the glowing indigo, and actually blend that in such that it's probably gonna have to be a screen layer when I think about it. I'll have to try the different blending modes. There's a couple of unique blending modes to Krita, by the way. I recommend it just for that. It showed the basic ones, but if you go under the advanced options for the blending modes for each of the layers, there's a bunch of unchecked ones, and it's things like, you know, Chromolux and all kinds of retardedly detailed different layer types. So I'll have to try and see what looks good with that. The vision that I have is you have the normal color, and then underneath the fur, poking out of the fur, you have light bleeding through. And that's going to be a little bit of a hard thing to do. I might have to make like a separate over paint layer just to kind of block it out. Who is Adrian? Adrian, well, Adrian is my significant other from way back when, from a handful of years ago. And so you're gonna make me useless. You're gonna make me useless for tomorrow. No, I'll get over it. I'm actually on pretty good meds. But no, it's I loved Adrian. Adrian was a really big part of my life. And we were engaged at the time. So it was, we were recently engaged, like within the month engaged, and then in part of our celebrating things, let's just say some people don't take well to seeing shows of affection between two men in public. I'm going down a hill, I should get off. No, I really don't mind if you ask stuff like that. I'm not when I'm on the topic anyway. So this is the whole big part of this, is I'm trying to express myself so I don't focus on the negatives. I want to think about Adrian in a good light. One of the most positive things for me was just the way that he used to stay in bed with me. He used to purposely, like, he'd have to get out and go and do things like, you know, he'd go and he'd start coffee and whatnot for the morning, and then he'd come back into bed, and he was always very much on a schedule, but he would make time just to snuggle and kind of slowly wake me up because I'm horrible at waking up. I have 7 alarms. But yeah, I mean, it's little tiny things like that that I want to remember. I want to remember the positive things, and so immortalizing them in this way, I think that's the better thing to do every year, rather than think back and mope and generally be in a slump. Usually by this time of the month, I'm completely shot. But I've been keeping on top of it, and it's been going pretty well. I like this project. I like what I'm doing here. I realized that I have had my Otbot webcam open, and it has not been printing anything. Oh, okay. So tomorrow, that's another thing. I need to make sure that I have something printing on my 3D printer. I have a couple more of these panels to print, but I think I have another project I need to print too. I'll take a look at what I have stored up. I have a queue of things that I've got prepared. So, I think he deserves nothing less. I should be clear. When I say that I lost Adrian, I mean that he was murdered. Like, we didn't separate, it wasn't some falling apart. We legitimately were... He was stolen from me. And now I really am going downhill. Yeah. It was not a very nice moment. Let me just say that. But again, reason that people should carry a gun if they have the responsibility to know how to use it. At least if you have the ability to carry a gun. That's dependent on where you live, depends on the laws around where you live, it depends on the mood of where you live. You may be perfectly legally able to own and wield a weapon, and you just can't do it because no one in society will deal with you. I know a couple places like that where you just can't even go into a store of any kind. They'll just say, nope, we don't want you here. So, one of those things. This is now a requirement for me. I should go to bed. It's 40 after. Okay, yeah, I really do need to go to bed. I hope you guys enjoyed everything. I'll be back on. Yeah, another 3 hours tomorrow, like I generally planned. So we're gonna try and do, everything I was mentioning. Try and get everything prepped for basic painting, and then yeah, we'll do painting on Thursday, and then maybe some finishing on Friday if we really have to. Can you tell I'm trying not to think about it? I am okay. I really am okay. Just, yeah, it's hard when you bring it directly up, and I don't mean you, just in general. Whenever it's brought directly up, sometimes I very vividly get sensations. Smell's a really hard one. The smell of blood, that's a really hard one to forget. Pretty sure smell's one of the strongest memory senses too, so just saying. Yeah, that's a thing. But I am okay. It's just disturbing in a couple of ways. I am seeing more and more ants. I need to take care of these ants before I go to bed too. Actually, I might just have to do that tomorrow, but I'll see if I can find where most of them are coming from and spray them real quick. My mind's blanking out. If I ever go my mind is blanking out, or I'm trying to blank something out, so I apologize for that. I should call it a night. Yeah. I'll be on again. 8 o'clock my time, 9 o'clock your time, Lightning, and we'll do some more. Listen to some awesome jams. So I'm listening to this general radio station. It keeps looping back on itself. I'll try and see if I can pick a better seed, or maybe do a different kind of music. I like to have good music while I'm drawing. But good music, good people to talk to. Good music, good people to talk to. Fun time drawing art, and advice. Hey, I realize that I'm older than the average streamer, so I probably have a little bit of experience under my belt. Not much. I don't want to profess that I know everything. But if I can help in any way with any of your inquiries, just, yeah, let me know. It's Dr. Ott time! But yeah. So we are going to call it... I have way too many tabs open. Oh, dear Lord. What is my memory footprint? 1 sec. Of the 64 gigs of RAM I have, I guess it hasn't dumped that yet from Krita. But of all that, I have 7 gigs free. Oh, too many tabs in Chrome. Oh yeah, legit, that is actually where most of it's coming from. Okay, I'm gonna call that a night then, and let my computer go to sleep. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you later. Have a good one.